where did it come from and who made it? It's a very interesting answer for this question, because I started the next time to read the Holy Bible from the first to the end, and I looked in the Holy Bible what is written about sea silk, and I was shocked. I read many years the Holy Bible. Chiara Vigo, as she comes to Manoppello, the first time, she was shocked. She goes down on the floor and is looking, and she said, "Who made it? It's very, very fine. I cannot do a fine way like this. It must be a child between 3 and 5 years. But which child is able in this age to do this?" And then she said, "Oh, I think Mary, only Mary is able to do this." And this was for me the key to look what we know about Mary and sea silk. Jesus. The first time as you find sea silk in the Holy Bible is in this moment in Genesis chapter 41. Joseph, the brothers sell him to Egypt, and after a long time he was a second Pharaoh. And this moment they get him a coat with sea silk, because the Egypt believe on the king Ra, it's the sun, and he is the son of the sun, so he have to reflect the light, that the people understand, oh yes, he's like God. This was the first time. The second time is in Genesis. We have 14 chapter full of sea silk. In this moment, if they prepare the tent of God, all in this have sea silk, have pieces. Many, many years later, in Jerusalem, they built a temple like the tent of God. So this is, I think, a picture that Mary gave all her life for Jesus, and Jesus gave his life for us, that we can find the Father. The very important thing is Jesus is bringing us the Father for us. And this is a sign as he opened the curtain that we can go to him as a child. So we have it for the king, for the priests, and for God. We have in German a picture where you see Mary working with purple or with sea silk. I didn't know what it is, but I think it shows this what we can see. But Anna Katharina Emmerich, a person which saw the life of Jesus and also of Mary and the passion of Jesus, she saw in the life of Mary that the three magic or three kings bring not only the gift for Jesus, gold, incense, and myrrh, they bring also for Mary a gift. And very interesting, she wrote that they bring different clothes and veils, and very fine, transparent or yellow shining veil. So it's possible that the three kings bring the veil for the death. Why for the death? Tutankhamun, I didn't know it is in English good, Tutankhamun?
That's correct.
Yes, okay. Tutankhamun, they found it 1924, his body, and he opened, because it was the first moon which they found ready. And then they want to see how they make a moon. And then they took the veil step by step away. And the last veil on his face, and this is the first on his face, was a sea silk veil. Why? They laying on the face because you see him, the people can give him the last honor. You press the sweat from the death in the veil, sudarium, here's a name from sudarium, and he is shining also in the death, golden. So, we have here the key. Why it's possible that the three magic, one of them, bring this for Mary. If they bring the mirror, it's a crane for the death, then they bring also the veil for the death. Because in the Jewish history, the mother have a law. No have so pain in the moment as a child dies like a mom. So the mother have the last look into the face, and only the mother have the right to prepare the face for the death, for the tomb. And she looked at last in the face of her child. This is the reason why they give Mary the veil for the death. And in this moment, she understood, if she not understood before, what Simon said. He said, a lens open your soul. But he didn't say, Jesus died before. But in this moment, Mary understood, if she not understood before, Jesus has to die before, and I have to prepare his body for the tomb. In this moment, she begins to be a martyr for us. This is, what is that, a veil for the head, for Mary. It is in Assisi. You can see it in the 50 October. It's sea silk. This is Tutankhamun. His face was, the first veil of his face was sea silk. While Mary into the tomb is laying on the face, which was covered with the Oviedo, with the shroud of Turin, a sea silk transparent veil where you see nothing. A long time I asked me, Mary, why do you do this? You didn't see the face. You didn't prepare. It's your law. You didn't prepare this. Why are you laying a very expensive veil on the face? If Judas Iscariot living at this moment, he said, oh, you are crazy. Sell it and then we have many money for the poor man and for us. But no, Mary gave this very expensive veil laying on the face in the last moment before they closed the tomb. Why? I was in Paris for explain to the Holy Face, and then I found this in the church of the Jesuit, and then you see he married, it's a Pieta, but without a body of Jesus, only with the veil. And this is very interesting. Mary have not prepared the face. Many, also here in the church, you can see Mary. They bring Jesus from the cross and laying in the womb on the womb of Mary. No. In the moment, if they have taken Jesus from the cross, only the man prepared this body. Mary have nothing to do with them. At the last moment, if they have laid Jesus in a tomb, she can go into the tomb and she give this very important veil, which she have every time, I think so, in his heart, trying in his heart here, And in this moment she lay on him. It was very hard for Mary. And if I read the book of Maria Valtorta, and the last Mary, she was near crazy, to be crazy in this moment as they want to close the tomb. She want not lost Jesus. And in this moment she gives this, and I understand, this is the last adoration in the darkness of the face. Everybody, you and I, have a moment of darkness in the face. Sometime more, sometime not, but we have it. But in this moment, Mary said, Jesus, I know where you are. You are the king. You are the higher priest, and you are human, and you are God. This is the last adoration of Mary. But in the moment of the resurrection, the face of the resurrection, I think it's not at first for us. It was at first for Mary. It's the answer from Jesus for her mother. He said, yes, I am the king. I am the living king. I am the higher priest. And I am, and this is very important, human and God forever and ever. This is the only revolution which brings life for the people. The only one. All the other revolutions in the world bring the death. But this brings the life for all, for us. And this saw Mary. It's very interesting, Katharina Emmerich wrote, in the moment as Peter and John go to the tomb and found this, they bring all the clothes from the tomb to Mary. And this is the reason why you can read in the Bible, in another gospel, as the other woman comes to the tomb, they found nothing. Because they have bring it to Mary. So, now we ended in Jerusalem, and we go on. With Mary, the Holy Face, have a way, with Mary it's coming to Ephesus, this is yellow. Then from Ephesus, return 48 to the first concile of the apostle to Jerusalem, returned. After them, quickly after them, Mary go back to the Father and to his Son. So we have to think that someone has written that James, the brother of the Lord, brother means not that Jesus had brother in Mary had other children. This is said he is one of the great family of Joseph or Mary, sisters or others, and he was the first bishop of Jerusalem, and so he had the way. Then it's come to possible to Memphis, because Mary was with Jesus and Joseph in Memphis, and there was the first. Here started the first Christian of Egypt in Memphis. Today it's Cairo. Then it's come back to Edessa. From Edessa to Camulian. And from Camulian to Constantinople, from Constantinople to Rome, and from Rome to Manoppello. In Edessa, you see it now, the green, the yellow, it's Ephesus, then the green from Jerusalem goes to Memphis, then back to Edessa. It's nice to the border to Syria, then to Camulian, From Camullion to the red point, it's Constantinople, and then over the sea to Rome, 705. 1200, the first holy years in Rome, started the adoration and the bringing of the Holy Face to the people. So the first pilgrimage started to Rome, and then 1527 they lost it in a sack of Rome, and after then it's appeared in Manoppello. Very important is in the art of the face, we have every time the face of the risen Christ. You see here the king of Edessa, and then you understand, you see the first, you have only the face veil, and on the other you have a long veil like a shroud of Turin. It was 4.27 meters. It is 4.27 meters. So it's possible that the both was in this time in Edessa. Edessa was the first kingdom, the first Christian kingdom in the history. And the art shows us the face, the both face. So it's possible that the Christian in Jerusalem was destroyed, that they go there and bring the most relic, the most holiest relic in security there in the city. In Camuya, a man, an archaeologist, found this, and he said, if the Holy Face was there, I searched it, and he found it, and after, I think, 5 months, he died. He said, my job is over. I found it, it was there. And every time you see the face of the Holy Face, not the other face, you have the eyes great open. You have a swollen side and a small side. Only you didn't see the teeth because the teeth was impure in this time. So no icon, you have the mouth and the mouth open and you see the teeth. Because it's unclear for the person. In Constantinople, in the Hagia Sophia, you see very fine the Holy Face of Manoppello. You see also the swollen side of the nose. And you see the shadow under the lips, and this is very important. The shadow under the lips have all the person who died. In the moment of the death, not only the mouth fallen, also the lips fallen. You have no power. So you have here a shadow. If many doctors I have in Manoppello, and they said every time the same, this is the sign that Jesus was dead. But the red on the forehead shows us that the blood is coming back. So in this moment, but he lost his blood. We see it in the Shroud of Turin, in Oviedo, in the Veil of Oviedo. We see he lost the whole blood for us. But in this moment, nobody understands this, that the blood is coming back. And with this, the human life. It's the first moment as Jesus opened his eyes in the tomb, made the first breath, because the hairs in the middle here, in the forehead, is not the same one on the forehead and on the back side. You see the hairs movement. So we see here the face of the risen Christ in Constantinople, in Istanbul today. But not only they have made this in the church, they make it also the coins in the money. They have the face of Jesus, because our Christian we cannot say, I am a Christian in a church, and if you lost the church or go out of the church, I am not a Christian. Also in my wallet, I am a Christ. Also what I buy, what I do, I am a Christian forever and ever. And not only for the church. This is very important in Constantinople. You see now the first altar for the Holy Face in Rome. St. John, yes. And you see, at this time, 705, the Pope was, his palace was the Lateran. So they bring it at first to the Lateran, and it was near him. But the church under his living room have also the face. Then, 1200, they started to building a new church, St. Peter. At first it was in the old St. Peter, where you have the tower. Today there is the Petra between the altar from John Paul II, the Holy Pope, and the altar from the Pieta altar from Michelangelo. There was the altar for the Holy Face. Because many people started 1200 to come to Rome to see in the face of our Lord. With this, we understand, the people understand our faith. It's not for the head. It's not a thing for, it's a reality for us. Then they built 1506, they started to building the new St. Peter, where you can see today. In this moment, they make only the pillar, the 4 pillars which have support the cupola of this. But the 4 pillars have the 4 most important religion for us. The first was Helena with the cross on the right side. On the back side you have Longinus with a lance. On the left side, on the back side, you have Andreas. There was the head of Andreas. Paul VI gave it back 1968 to the Orthodox Church. And the pillar of the Veronica was built for the Holy Face. But before it's come there, they lost the Holy Face. But interesting is that you see the Veronica, but this is the Veronica from the 6th station. And you see here the Mary Veronica with the veil, and the eyes are closed. Jesus' eyes on the veil are closed, and he have the crowned face. But if you look up near the balcony, there are 2 angels. They have also a veil. And if you look there, you see the face of Manoppello. So the history changed in this moment as they lost the Holy Face in Rome. And this started a face with closed eye and with a crown on the head. The only what we have today is the frame which was for the Holy Face. This you can see in the Museum of the Vatican. Interesting is, you see here a house. In 1578, the King of Savoy made a great gift for Turin, the Shroud of Turin. And on the way to this, if they bring it, they have built a house and they made here a picture. You see the Holy Face, like in St. Peter, with the open eyes, and you see the Shroud of Turin. This said 1578. Every time they know these are too close for the tomb. But in the history, they know it, but the people unknow it. Only the Shroud of Turin know it. But in a Shroud of Turin, you see normally nothing. If they open, that you can see if the Shroud of Turin, they prepare you 2 hours to look and show you what you can see. Because normally you see not very clear there. Here you see Pia Secondo. He was the first. He can make a photo from the Shroud of Turin. And he saw at first, after a long time, the face of God in Jesus Christ. And with this started the research of the Shroud of Turin. But not Manoppello was sleeping. Manoppello, they have the Holy Face, but they have it in the wall, 40 years, behind in the pillar like in Rome. They make the same, it's very easy. They make it in a pillar like they want to have it in Rome, but nobody knows that a small pillar in Manoppello have the Holy Face. Then they took it in an altar on the right side. Now you have only the picture from Padre Domenico da Cese. This was a chapel, and there was the altar of the Veronica. And in the altar, they covered, they took it into that nobody see it. 1707, there was a great earthquake, and the people, 300 people from Manoppello, died in this moment. And in this moment, the people come to the affairs and said, please bless us with the Holy Face, we know that is here. And then the guardian blessed, and it ended the earthquake. Then they write a letter, and they make a history about the Holy Face, the way of Manoppello, which is coming. An angel bring it, the Holy Face, to Manoppello, but in this moment, this is only a story because the Pope wants to have the Holy Face. He know he lost it in Rome, and the Pope said, if someone pray for a Holy Face outside of the Vatican, he is not more a member of the Catholic Church. And so they make a very nice history. An angel bring the Holy Face to Manoppello, and then 100 years ago it was from family to family, and so, and at last the fairs becomes it. With this history, the Pope allowed it that they bring the Holy Face outside. Now we have on the right side another chapel from the Mary of the Rosary, Pompeii. And this is for me very interesting because John Paul II wrote a wonderful about the Holy the Rosary, and in his preword he writes, we have to go to the school of Mary to look in the face of Christ. So this is it. It was from 1707 or 670 in this chapel, and then 1915 we have the next earthquake in Manoppello, and the chapel was fallen. And so they bring the Holy Face outside because in this moment there was no window, nothing. Only on Tuesday evening they'd celebrate the Mass there. But you see nothing there. There is no light, there is nothing. Then they bring it to the main altar where the place is today. And with this started the Holy Face history in Manoppello. This changed all. So you see here the Holy Face. The pilgrimage started because they said thank you to the Lord that He helped that He has ended the earthquake. Also, for 10 years we have a great earthquake, and I think it was Cardinal from Manila, Tagle. He blessed with the Holy Face, and the earthquake ended. We called them. It was very interesting. So you see then where the pilgrimage and the Holy Face procession was started. And then in the darkest moment of a life of a fair, of Padre Domenico da Cese, started this. And this is for me very interesting. Padre Domenico da Gese was a friend of Padre Pio. Padre Pio said every time, he's like me, he's my son. And if the people are coming to him, then he said, oh, why you have paid for the long village trip to come to San Giovanni Rotondo? Go to Padre Domenico, he's like me. And the people ask, where's Padre Domenico? And then he every time knows where he is, because his confraters was very not happy about him, because many people comes to him to the confession, because he have like Padre Pio, he can see in the soul and see in the life, and he speak with them. And so the people are coming, and the other fairs was not happy about this, because they no one want to go to the confessions to the other. So he have a hard life. I have many documents read about him, but I was not able to write anything, because it's a hard life what he had as a fair. And he started every time in his life with a rosary. Then in the moment as he was in the Second World War, he had a gift from the Lord. He couldn't sleep. So they said, okay, wonderful for us, the soldiers. Then if you not have to sleep, you will make in the night for us, look for the attack and all. You are our guard in the night. This was his job. Then he come back to his fathers, and then he have the cross, because they didn't like him. So he have the rosary and a cross. And at last of his life, as he come to Manoppello, the provincial said, for 1 year, you are not allowed to hear the confession. And you have go away from us, you have to go to Manoppello. But only for celebrate and then for nothing. And with this, the hardest and the darkest moment in his life started that he understand the Holy Face. He looked many times in the Holy Face. And he said, it's not possible. It's not the Veronica face. Jesus is living. It's transparent. Sometimes you see nothing. Sometimes you see him. What's that? And there have no blood. They have no open wounds. What is that? And on Easter Sunday, he understood. This is the shout of the resurrection. The way. And then with him started the research of the Holy Face of Manoppello. This was 68. But 68 was another interesting moment in his life. Every time in the morning, he opened the church at 6 o'clock. And then he go back to his prayer place, and there was sitting Padre Pio. And he said, Padre Pio, what you are making here? But at this moment, Padre Pio celebrated this last Holy Mass in San Giovanni Rotondo. And if you know the film from the last Holy Mass of San Giovanni Rotondo from Padre Pio, you see him fallen between 5 minutes before 6 o'clock. In this moment he was in Manoppello, and he said to Padre Domenico, in bilocation, this that he can be in 2 places together. In this moment he said, I didn't know where I am. Please pray for me. And then they are praying in front of the Holy Face, looking up to the Holy Face. And Padre Pio said once time, goodbye in the paradise, and was going away. if I read this in the memory of Padre Domenico, I ask me, why Padre Pio? I love Padre Pio. He is my spiritual father. As I was sister, our mother said, all the other have from the Carmel. Only I have the Padre Pio Capuchin father, spiritual father, and they give me them. And so, why he said, I didn't know where I am. And then Padre Leonardo comes from San Giovanni Rotondo, and I ask him, he was in this moment a subdiacon, and I ask him, can you tell me at which clock Padre Domenico fallen on the altar? And he was up a little bit for 6 o'clock. At this moment, Padre Pio opened the door and going on his place to the praying. This was the moment, the hard moments for everyone is the moment if we know our death started. In this moment, he have to look in the face of Manoppello, in the face of the risen face of Christ. In this moment, he have to look and to pray, and then he know Jesus have paid for my sins. He have done all for me, and it's not ended. He bring me the eternal life. He is the open door. Here the door is open. If the door is open in the morning at 6 o'clock, you have the blue, if it's not rain. And then you see this, you have to look in the eyes of the victory. He is my personal victory, here and now, and every day, and also in my moment of the death. And then you can say, goodbye in the paradise. But the story not ended in this moment. Few days later, 28, I think, Padre Pio have a great funeralium. Many people from the whole world comes to San Giovanni Rotondo to make a great procession. But Padre Domenico was not able to go there because he have groups to show the Holy Face. So he have to stay in Manoppello. 5 years ago, a television, Rate 3, it's a television in Italy, bring in the internet the film from the funerale of Padre Pio. And after 8 minutes, you see Padre Domenico is there. And we said it's impossible. And also the guardian at this time said, no, it's not possible. He was here. And in this moment he understands, he have also the gift of the bilocation like Padre Pio. Ten years later, after the death of Padre Pio, it was, I said it first, 1578, the Savoyan, the king, bring the Holy Face, the shroud of Turin, to Turin. Now, 400 years later, at the same time, 1978, they make a great explanation of the shroud of Turin, and Padre Domenico said, I have never seen it. I want to see it. And the friend said, yes, we take you there. And the guardian said, yes, you can go. I have only seen the risen face, but no time the death face. I want to see it. And then he drive, but he know what the story ended. He goes there, and he said on the Sunday before, the mother in the church, his son is not here. But say that sad, because he will never see me again. Nobody understands this. Padre Domenico comes there at the 30th September 78, saw the shroud of Turin, and in the evening a small car took him away, and he gave his life for the truth that the Holy Face and the veil of shroud of Turin, the face are one face. And he said, "This is what I give the world." And the last word of them said, go to the Holy Eucharistie, to the Holy Mass, and believe on my face. This is one of the last words from Padre Domenico. With this marker, they bring it to Manoppello with a window that we can see him. You see him, if you look the photos, you can see on the hand, sometimes he have the wounds of Christ closed, and sometimes he have the open. But no fathers of Manoppello see it. It's very interesting for me. His motto for his life was all for Jesus, everything for Jesus. And he had many trouble, everything for Jesus. So we look the last. The both history from the Shroud of Turin and of the Holy Face started in Jerusalem. The veil of Manoppello comes to Ephesus with Mary and with John. From there to Edessa. Both we have to take. You see the yellow for the Shroud of Manoppello, the veil of Manoppello, and the green for the Shroud of Turin. The both was in Constantinople. Now the history changed the way again. We know that from Constantinople 944, the Shroud of Turin come to Athens, from Athens to Paris. The veil of Manoppello from Camullium to Constantinople to Rome and then in the Vatican. Now the Shroud of Turin come to Loreto. From Campley, the king of Savoy lives in Campley, to Turin, and there the first photo where we started the research of the Shroud of Turin. Then in Manoppello in the Convent 1638, the last date, and this is the history. Many people can devise, but not many people can to bring together. Padre Domenico was a man who bring together. He gives his life for this truth, the face of the Shroud of Turin and the face of Manoppello is one face. Okay. Professor Pfeiffer, you see him here. He gave in the Gregoriana, was for the Christian art professor, and he said it's impossible that the Shroud of Turin, the face of the Shroud of Turin, is the mother of the old history face of Christ, because only the photo 1898 of Pia Seconda makes that you can see him. So he go to Germany to his brother of the Jesuit, and he tell him all what he said. And then the brother, Professor Wulz, said, "Do you know Sister Blandina, and her work?" And with this started that they bring together. Now, here you can see the Shroud of Turin the mother of all faiths of the history from Christ is impossible. Because only with a photo from Pio II you can see it. Padre Pio comes to Manoppello as he read what Sister Blondina has written, and he looked and he see nothing. Like you at first, as we started, you see nothing. And in this moment, he remembered a book from Martin Luther. Martin Luther was one time in Rome, 1511, and he was quickly about this, but 10 years later, he lost all. And he wrote a book anti the Pope. He said the Pope, what he made is not true. He's the Antichrist. And in this book you can read the Pope blessed with a veil where you see nothing. In this moment, as Professor Pfeiffer was standing in Manoppello in the middle way, then he see it, and this is what Martin Luther had wrote. And then in this, he goes forward, and he see the face. And he said, this is a key. Because Martin Luther cannot go in the Lateran or in St. Peter near to the Holy Face, but I can do it in Manoppello. And Paul Bade every time said, oh, we are so happy that the Holy Face is in Manoppello, so you can press your nose on the glasses to see him. So, in this moment, he said, this is the mother of all the arts picture. You see the different swollen side, you see the open eyes, you see also the swollen side of the nose. So, and many have also the hair in the middle. This you didn't see in a Shroud of Turin. This is the mother of all pictures, old pictures in the art. You see it here. You see it here. And the blessing of the Holy Face was the key for him. And the blessing with the Holy Face, also tomorrow, Paul Bade sent me the blessing with the Holy Face. From today we have the Fest of the Holy Face, Manoppello. Is important for us. We are blessed with this victory face. We are not people of the darkness. We are people from the victory. And also you are blessed from his victory. Do you know his cardinal?
Archbishop.
An archbishop, and our archbishop. We have to look in the face that we know we are blessed from the victory of our Lord.
This is absolutely astounding. I have to tell you that the Archbishop has a personal devotion to the Holy Face of Manoppello. And Sister, you'll be happy to know that he got the first copy from me, which he keeps. And we'll continue to work on this project to have it enshrined at the cathedral at some point. I'd like to say a few things to you because I wish that you all would stay. Sometimes when we have conferences like this and everybody runs after lunch, but I want to sort of indicate to you what's coming up. So one of the things in her closing presentation today, she's going to talk to us about why is it important to our faith. That's an important thing because in the faith tradition, it's good to have information, it's good to have knowledge, but we need wisdom. What does it mean? And she's going to go there. What does it mean for us? And then the second thing I wanted to point to my brother, Ray Frost, who's the historian of the Holy Face of Manoppello on our committee. He's a brilliant man. He is president of the Legion of Mary for the Western United States, and he's going to come and present that. I remember Ray Frost is important to us because Ray Frost did the first presentation on the Holy Face at our St. Ignatius, which is the Jesuit church, years ago now. And I remember when I saw it, I was there an hour beforehand by myself and waiting for him to do the presentation. I hope you'll hear his presentation. He has something wonderful to prepare for you today. In the meantime, I'd like to mention to you that I'd like to offer a prayer and also ask the volunteers to do a collection. Now, the collection that we're going to have is voluntary. You can give whatever you want. There's no pressure here. We're trying to deflect the cost of doing this presentation today and the cost of travel. So if you feel inclined to offer almsgiving for this purpose, we would love to see you do that. And the other thing is I'm going to offer the blessing before food because we're going to have lunch. And when you have lunch, when you come back into this room, you're welcome to take the chairs and form little circles if you want to sit with your friends. But I do ask you to line them back up again before we start the lecture again. So first I will do a prayer that I think is important for the beatification of Father Domenico. I want you to remember Father Domenico. He is key to this history. Without him, we wouldn't be in this room today. So I'd like to offer a prayer for his beatification, and you can listen as we do the collection, and then we'll say amen, and then I'll do the prayer before meals. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God our Father, you raise your servant Father Domenico, priest of the Capuchin order, to honor the honor of the altars. You gave him the mercy of sharing the sufferings of Jesus visibly, and the gift to look into the core of the human souls and reconcile them with you in the sacrament of penance. Just as he zealously promoted the devotion to the face of your Son and knew how to recognize Jesus in the poor and the suffering, we beg you to also grant us the simplicity of children to whom you reveal the secrets of your kingdom. In the hour of trial, give us the strength to overcome the temptations of evil in order to defeat Satan and be worthy to contemplate the holiest face of Jesus in the glory of paradise after the end of our earthly pilgrimage. Even if we are not worthy of your divine grace, we still ask you to grant us, through the intercession of your faithful servant, Father Domenico, mercy, which we humbly ask of you. And we all say, Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.